Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Hey.
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
When a hurricane pops up, and we can't forget Hurricane Harvey, because Hurricane Harvey and the TV pictures that accompanied that go a long way to helping further and create the panic. Now, in the official meteorological circles, you have an abundance of people who believe that man-made climate change is real. And they believe that Al Gore is correct when he has written, and he couldn't be more wrong, that climate change is creating more hurricanes and stronger hurricanes. And, of course, when Harvey hit, it was the first hurricane that had hit in 12 years. There haven't been more hurricanes, and they're no more dangerous than any others in previous years. But it doesn't matter, because the bias is built in. So there is a desire to advance this climate change agenda. And hurricanes are one of the fastest and best ways to do it. You can accomplish a lot just by creating fear and panic. You don't even need the hurricane to hit anywhere. All you need is to create the fear and panic accompanied by talk that climate change is causing hurricanes to become more frequent and bigger and more dangerous. And you create the panic, and it's mission accomplished, agenda advanced.
There's Rush Limbaugh, who lives literally, 8 miles from me? He lives 8 miles from my house. Hurricane Irma is going to crash into Key West, Miami, and then after that it's going to either crawl up the central part of the state, go a little to the east of the state where he and I both live as a Category 4 hurricane, or maybe I'll just be less dramatic, maybe a Category 3. And he says it's a deep state plot. He says it's all a deep state plot to advance an agenda that storms are larger, moister than ever before because Al Gore said so. I have never wished anybody ill in my whole life, and I don't wish him ill, but that house of his is pretty obnoxious looking, and, that would be some nice prime oceanfront property should it get leveled, is all I'm saying. I mean, I cannot believe what's going on here, to the point where Al Roker was doing a weather forecast this morning, and he had to say to people in this country, I know that there are people out there on the radio and such saying that this is fake, that the hurricane is fake. Please don't pay attention to those people who are on the radio saying that the hurricane is fake. He is saying that the meteorological circles, the scientists, the sciencey ones, after Harvey, which was like the most rainfall ever recorded in a hurricane scenario in the history of the world. I mean, it surpassed every recorded record of rain Harvey did, and this one has already shattered the record for maintaining its Category 5 status for the longest period of time. It's already been deemed as the largest hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean. It's headed straight for us. I mean, all of us, we're sitting here, and we're taking precautions. I watched 25,000 people evacuate the Keys. Good for you. I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do. I watched Miami has come under a partial mandatory evacuation today. They are taking anybody with special needs, meaning the elderly, people with, dialysis needs, people with medical needs, people with intense care, hospitals, etc. They're already evacuating all those people. But of course, Rush Limbaugh, who lives right here in this state, you would think he would have some compassion for his own neighbors, right? Like Donald Trump, who also lives about 8 miles from my house. But, there's train tracks that divide. I'm on the wrong side. They're on the right side, closer to the ocean, which, fingers crossed. But I mean, I just couldn't believe he's saying that the media is hyping this, that the media is fake. The TV is lying to you people, that even Harvey, it was all meant to shock you. It was all meant to appall you. It was all these photos that we saw of all these amazing rescues and, you know, everything else that happened there in Houston that's still happening. Of course, Houston's off the TV. Now we're on to DACA. And then after this weekend, you'll be looking at me. You'll be looking at Florida, you know, try and spot me because now you know what I look like. But you'll be looking for us to see like who rescues me and Howard, you know, and Alan the dog and Brett and his dad and my mom and, you know, Scotty and his wife Dom and, you know, the little 9-month-old baby who's going to take all of our jobs anyway. So, but I mean, he's actually saying that the media has concocted this. This takes your breath away. Listen.
Let's take South Florida television, for example.
Oh, my God.
There is a symbiotic relationship between retailers and local media, and it's related to money. It revolves around money.
I thought you were a capitalist.
You have major industries and businesses which prosper during times of crisis and panic.
And war.
Such as a hurricane, which could destroy or greatly damage people's homes. And it could interrupt the flow of water and electricity. So what happens? Well, the TV stations begin reporting this, and the panic begins to increase. And then people end up going to various stores to stock up on water and whatever they might need for home repairs and batteries and all this that they're advised to get. And a vicious circle is created. You have these various retail outlets who spend a lot of advertising dollars with the local media. The local media, in turn, reports in such a way as to create the panic way far out, which sends people into these stores to fill up with water and to fill up with batteries, and it becomes a never-ending repeated cycle. And the two coexist. Both the media benefits with the panic with increased eyeballs, and the retailers benefit from the panic with increased sales, and the TV companies benefit because they're getting advertising dollars from the businesses that are seeing all this attention from customers.
You're a genius.
Rush Limbaugh seems to have figured out capitalism and prepping. He seems to have figured out what preppers do. You know, you're supposed to be prepared in a hurricane, you moron. I can't even figure out why he is doing this. There's like this wild attempt to make everything that's real fake. Listen, Rush, you fat freak. You live right there on the ocean, you know, right there in Palm Beach in this freaking disgusting mansion that's decorated like, you know, some gay French man, you know, with a unicorn and a wand, you know, bequeathed all these, you know, paintings on your ceiling to you. And yet you're telling people not to prepare for a giant hurricane that is about to, I mean, I don't even get this. I thought they were the preppers. I really did. I thought they were the in chaos we can steal people. I guess they don't like when the little people, you know, prepare for chaos because then they can't rip you. I don't know what the deal is. I can't even understand it. But they had to go on national television, not you know, like Al Roker, all the meteorologists on the weather. They're saying, listen, we understand that there are reports out there that this hurricane is fake and it's all a plot by Al Gore. Oh, let me just get on. Let me just call Al Gore and tell him to call off the hurricane. Nobody's buying his global warming bullcrap. Let me just do that. But then when somebody actually quoted him, he said, and I just played you 2 long clips, okay, of him being a hurricane denier and that preparation is not needed or necessary or prudent or wise. And he says he's been taken out of context.
And apparently, you know that reporter that got clocked by the Republican out in North Dakota, Ben Jacob? Well, apparently this guy heard, well, I don't think he heard, I don't think any of these people actually listened. They probably got an out-of-context, erroneous report of things I didn't say yesterday. And he tweeted that I am a hurricane denier.
You are.
Which, by the way, does that not prove that these people are using this storm to advance the climate change agenda? Which
no,
is my
it doesn't, you moron. What it means is we want people to prepare. We want people in Key West to go ahead and leave. There's only one road out of Key West. It's a 2-lane freaking road that goes 120 miles. And that means that there's 2 lanes, one that goes to the Keys and one that leaves the Keys, and that means we need an orderly evacuation, unlike Houston, okay? And people are doing it. It's Wednesday. They're not supposed to see hurricane-related winds and rains until Saturday. But today is the day. You know, you give a mandatory evacuation ahead of a storm. People prepare for the storm. The Keys are barrier islands, okay? They're just sitting out there at zero sea level, and they're going to be flooded out, and they're going to get hit by a Category 5 storm, a Category 4 storm. And so there's only one way out, and people are right now in an orderly fashion, moving out of Key West and moving north. And, there's really only 2 highways out of Florida anyway. We only have the Turnpike, and then we have I-95. That's the only way. And people are trying to get out. And this idiot and they're probably in their cars listening to the freaking AM radio, these old freaks. And he's telling them, turn around and go back. This isn't really happening. This isn't real. You know, Rush, you can't pretend this isn't real. We tried that with Donald Trump, and look what happened. This man is literally dangerous. He is literally putting people's lives at risk.
Apparently caused an eruption in various sectors of social media.
It's not just social media. It's me, too. You freak.
And so Eric wrote a piece here to try to set these people straight, to tell them what exactly happened on the program yesterday versus what they... I know they're not going to read that. Well, they might. I mean, Eric is on social media, and we here, of course, the EIB network have steadfastly maintained a safe distance from that cesspool. So we're not there. That's why I don't get any feedback on it. But I mean, all I did yesterday...
You're afraid to tweet?
Folks, it is so frustrating. And it's actually getting more and more frustrating. You can't... When these people who are so emotionally invested, emotionally, not intellectually, so emotionally invested in an event and in an outcome, when they are... You can't get to them with the truth. In fact, the truth is the greatest enemy they face, and they treat it that way.
Oh, my God. He was always a nasty bastard. Okay, he really always was. He was always racist. He was always a nasty bastard. He was always, an egomaniac. Listen, I followed him. This is really creepy. I mean, for years and years, my show followed his. We all worked for the same freaking company. Of course, I was the token. The only one. Right? But in all the years that I followed his show, and he lived literally 5 miles from the studio where we toiled and staff toiled to get his show on. He never once came over and said hello to the people that were working their asses off to get his show on the air every single day. He never once came over. Not once. I mean, he's just a psycho. But please, dear God, if you're anywhere in South Florida, if you're in Miami, Broward County, West Palm, where we are, even it's just everywhere that, up to Orlando now, you are going to have a hurricane this weekend. And we will lose electricity and plan on 3 days, at least. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.